Good day to you all. My name is Ralston Khevin Boyore, and I'm your presenter for this moment. So the topic that I'm about to present to you is the final project presentation in which focuses the application to the course. So as to start our delegation, here are some topics that I shall present to you regarding about the application to the course. So the first application is about the project monitoring control plan. And the next one is the interpretation of the design. But under the design, the interpretation of the design, there are subtopics that can help us elaborate more into the subject. So these are the describing the details, knowing what use of each design, and understanding the concept and purpose. So as I start, the first thing that I'm about to talk to you is about the project monitoring and the control plan. So here, as we all know, the project manager has the general authority and the obligation for handling and executing this mission in step, which the project plan and the subsidiary, the management plans. So as a part that we should follow, the project monitoring and the control plan is a set of we can manage as part of the project. So it is because because that we ought to finish this as soon as possible. We are also in the need of controlling and monitoring our progress as much as possible. So this has been a part where we can see and use in the definition of the controlling and project. This plan has helped a project to move accordingly as we progress into the schedule of a project. So the things that should occur as we manage this that they are scope to be considered. So we can reflect under the scope and give out remarks. So the remarks, this will let us understand the value of each component as to where we can see the future aspect and to what we can be controlled more carefully as we understand the concept of what a plan should do to increase the succession of a project. So we are learning in the aspect of knowing what a project manager ought to do in this kind of situation. So as we manage, the first thing to do is that we have to organize a plan so that we can look upon because the neatness, the order, and the reliability that it can provide. So as we speak of how to know how to have a reliable plan, the plan should always be concise of what the things to do and what are the things that we ought to demand. So remarking the progress is where we can manage the plan. This will let us know the which problems and which component of work has made it successful. So in that case, we are bringing upon the need of conquering the aspect of which we must have the of remarking. So the progression as we move forward, it must be digitalized and considered an aspect of an overall progression. So this has let us understand more of the consequences of having or using the project monitoring and control plan. So also, this is not also a part where the plan starts. Because there are also other considerations about this plan. This may not be as important, but this plan is technically a shorter version of the overall plan of the project. So this has just been the overall aspect in which we are using it as to monitor our progress. So to next, the problem of a control is that no matter how we do, if there are mistakes that happens in the plan, it tends of what we can it tends to increase our workload. So undeniably, the most important to understand it is that we should know how to adjust accordingly to the project needs. So that is how controlling should happen. So we are also in the part as we remark the component. We are also the one making the decision of whether we can continue the component or change it into a different plan. So it can also have the power to control the aspect of changing, of course, of the course of the project. So this is what we call the flow of the project. So the schedule may be there to follow, but a control plan is almost there as we use it for changes that will most likely happen. Though there are other forms of changing, but the aspect of the decision is there. So that is why this will let us understand more of what we can control. So like any other plan, this has let me learn the values that I can only attain from witch making, but also in managing the managing department. So managing your goals, knowing their progression will set your mind at ease. So it is because that you can see the over it is because that you see the overview of the using of this method for the sake of using it as a part of your analysis. So we are hereby taught in a way that can only be achieved through learning this method. So as far as I'm concerned, knowledge is everywhere. So you can earn them through different means. To bind them or binding them, we use a medium called our mind. Our mind correlates them and turning it into meaning that we can, at the end, we can understand. So we can stand our ground because we are gaining new methods of how that help us organize this understanding into a fashion that can help us achieve the means of managing oneself. So we are also the ones that can control on how we use or manage onto what we become afterwards. So this is proven from everywhere that being organized will help you do the things in more a smoothly manner. So this has been one of the ways we can achieve an understanding and obtaining the needs of accomplishing one task. So this is to relate my lifestyle into the course of the using of project monitoring into the construction project. So as to relate them, the plan has been a part of where we can use it as a managing tool for the sake of knowing on to what to control and what to manage as we go on to continue our work or our accomplishments. Yeah. Okay. And we are on to the next application, the interpretation of the design. So as far as I'm concerned, the biggest part of a project manager is to interpret and understand everything about the project's detail and its meaning. So as a construction engineering student, a CEM student, I'm obliged to know this part as much as possible. That is why in this curriculum, I'm already being prepared and making experience to every basic needs and parts during in a project planning. So that is because the reliability that I will or that we will gain from because of our position in the management section. And as to know what to do by following construction plan, we must have the ability to interpret the design as much as possible. This is because to know why we can manage, we can know the steps, the needs, and the power to decide everything in a project. So using this type of learning, it will be beneficial for any student who has an engineering degree because we are also the sole purpose of understanding the plan and the layout. We have the power to understand or rather interpret the design because as to where we stand, we can obtain the success in finishing a project. We understand the principles in finishing a project. We understand the mind of the project that tells us every detail that we can provide as to build a construction. As a part of my learning, this application of skill can be inhabited to any type of project that is related to construction. So for giving out an example to what I can interpret, I shall demonstrate the needs of understanding the principles and details of our project and to follow at the end. I'll also give out the things that I can reflect to into this project. So my sample learning into this application of learning, in application to the course, I shall give out my CEM project as for my example because this project not only that I did work on to, but also I am behind of the every design that has been given to this. So it gave a advantage for me to know what this purpose of this site entails too. So again, this is the project, the medicine research facility and the multi-purpose hall. So the intention of the project is to provide a multifunctional and indestructible structure that will house medical research services, catering facilities, meeting rooms, domestic rooms, emergency rooms, storage facilities. There are inadequate facilities to provide a single frame, facilities that achieve the goal of providing a superior and comprehensive emergency responses, to investigate capabilities, medical assistance, and shelter in a safe environment and strong structure. So the multi-purpose medical research building will serve as a headquarters during a normal day. So the goal of the project are improving the standard of the design, constructing research industrial manufacturing facilities, operation, maintenance, multifunctional facilities through analysis of present states and issues, fields of design, construction, and operation and maintenance of foundation, industrial and implementation of pilot projects and facilities, and to increase the infrastructure capacity to meet all necessary needs. So the medical research facility and the multipurpose one also aim to provide facilities for the community so that they can visit and evacuate during floods, earthquakes, or other types of pandemic. So this is the first floor plan, ground floor plan. So knowing the details of the plan that I am interpreting, so this will give out of what I can use them, as well as an insight of the overall structure of the building. So as we progress, I will tell you about the details of the project, the size, and the facilities being implemented in the floor plan. So the total ground floor area of the medicine research facility and the floor area, medicine research, it is a 8,205 and 3 square meters, which composed of different facilities such as the cafeteria, the shift nest, clinic, diagnostic, electric room, elevator, emergency ward, facility lobby, facility office, facility storage, toilet hallway, head office, information desk, janitorial, laboratory, lodging, and many more. So as to the next, the second floor plan, I am also providing the area. The total area is the 3,718 and 6 square meters, which contains different facilities like the Animal Bite Center, Animal Research Laboratory, Antimicrobial Resistance Surveillance Reference Laboratory, Bioproduction Facility, Clinic, Clinical Division Main Office, so many more. So as to interpret, the first floor usually is for the public, where they can visit, they can take their normal ways of the medicine. As for the second floor, employees are usually in here because they tend to do medicine research at their laboratory. So as I finish to what I had demonstrated for interpreting the design of what I had made, I will also conclude that this will be the representation of what I had learned. So this will be an essential thing for every student who aims to be part of the industry. The construction industry has the need of making every personnel to know and understand the detail of what we had learned this, because we will gain the purpose of why it is being made at the first place, and as well as catering the needs of who wants to build things. So these are the clients. So this will also be a part of the course that which let us understand the value of the project, because we know how to value from the estimation lessons that we had partaken. So to conclude, interpreting the design has been one of the essential things to understand in dealing with projects under any type of construction industry. So as to end, this is the end, and thank you.